We often look to the stars for the story of our origins. But the true blueprint of life may be drifting in the dark, hidden inside a monster. Meet Asteroid 101955 Bennu. A relic from the birth of our solar system, 4.5 billion years ago. It is a skyscraper-sized mountain of carbon and ice, crossing Earth's orbital path. It carries the ingredients that sparked life on our planet, but it also carries a dark potential. A potential for global catastrophe. In September 2016, humanity launched an avatar into the void. Its name was OSIRIS-REx. Its objective was something never attempted before by a United States mission: to travel hundreds of millions of miles, rendezvous with a speeding space rock, steal a piece of its ancient surface, and bring it back alive. It was a cosmic heist, planned with millimeter precision. For 2 long years, the probe chased its target through the freezing vacuum. And in December 2018, it arrived. But as the first close-up images flashed across the monitors at NASA, the celebration turned into a heavy silence. Bennu was not what they expected. NASA had anticipated a smooth, sandy oasis. A gentle beach of fine gravel, where a spacecraft could easily lower an arm and scoop up history. Instead, they found a hellish labyrinth. Bennu's surface was a chaotic wilderness of massive, razor-sharp boulders. There was no safe place to land. Every single square meter looked like a trap. For over a year, scientists painstakingly scanned every ridge, every shadow. They finally isolated a microscopic target. A tiny crater, barely the size of a few parking spaces, nicknamed Nightingale. To reach it, the minivan-sized spacecraft would have to dive between a boulder the size of a multi-story building and a cliff face. The margins for error dissolved to zero. On board, no human could steer the craft. The communication delay to Earth was too great. OSIRIS-REx had to think for itself. Using an autonomous navigation brain, it would guide its 3-meter-long robotic arm towards the heart of the crater.
It was traveling at a mere 10 centimeters per second, a slow, agonizing descent into the unknown.
October 20th, 2020. The moment of contact.
The circular sampling head moves closer, perfectly head-on.
Scientists expected a firm bounce, a brief touch against a solid world. But as the metal ring kissed the dust, reality shattered. Bennu did not push back. It opened up like a fluid abyss. The asteroid had virtually no structural integrity. It was an illusion, a giant ball pit of cosmic dust held together by almost zero gravity. Within 3 seconds, the sampling head sank 20, then 40 centimeters deep into the asteroid's heart. The spacecraft was being swallowed by the very world it came to rob. At that exact fraction of a second, a bottle of high-pressure nitrogen gas fired, intentionally roiling up the subsurface soil. But in that loose, weightless environment, the blast triggered a cataclysmic eruption. A violent storm of boulders and dust exploded upward, completely blinding the cameras. To escape an eternal burial, the spacecraft fired its thrusters at maximum power, scrambling to break free from the gravity of a ghost world. When the debris cloud cleared, the team at Mission Control received the first diagnostic images. They were completely stunned. The mission had required a minimum of 60 grams of material. But the device had plunged so deep, it had scooped up nearly 2 kilograms. They were the victims of their own success. But then, panic set in. The collection container's lid, a delicate mylar flap, was jammed wide open by a collection of larger pebbles. In the weightless environment of space, the precious cargo was slowly, continuously drifting out of the container, escaping into the void. The historic bounty was leaking away. Every movement of the robotic arm caused more fragments to bleed into space. NASA had to make a desperate, high-stakes decision. They canceled all mass measurements. They canceled the planned spin maneuvers.
Working around the clock, engineers sent emergency commands to expedite the timeline, carefully tucking the overflowing head into the sample return capsule.
The vault was locked. The leak was finally contained. May 2021, OSIRIS-REx began its 2-year cruise back home. Bearing its prize, it traversed millions of miles of empty space.
On September 24th, 2023, the spacecraft approached Earth. From 63,000 miles away, it released the sample capsule, casting it into the fiery embrace of our atmosphere at 27,000 miles per hour. There was one final scare. A wiring anomaly prevented the initial drogue parachute from deploying, causing the capsule to plunge faster than anticipated. But at 9,000 feet, the main parachute bloomed against the sky. The capsule drifted down, touching the mud of the Utah desert with a gentle whisper. "7 years, billions of miles. The heist was complete." When scientists finally pried open the vault, they found 121.6 grams of pristine stardust. More than double the original requirement. Preliminary analyses revealed something extraordinary. The sample was rich in water, organic molecules, and carbon. Even more profound, it contained massive signatures of ammonia, a volatile compound proving that Bennu was born in the frozen outer rings of our solar system before migrating to our doorstep. As for the main spacecraft, its journey is far from over. Renamed OSIRIS-APEX, it bypassed Earth, using our gravity to slingshot itself toward a new target. An infamous asteroid named Apophis, arriving in 2029. Humanity's mechanical avatars continue to wander the infinite tapestry, reminding us that as long as we have the courage to look into the dark, the universe will always yield its light.